person doesn't leave your life for another person. They leave your life for the way you are. And so I want to talk about what are these things that really happen within relationship that you believe sometimes it's the person for the reason they left you or they ended the relationship. And a lot of time it's the way you are. And I just want to give you an idea of what to be mindful about relationships you enter into, that you may be the person that caused that relationship to go a different route or just end. And so you're with Love Coach Pamela. Thank you for joining me as I do this talk on accountability. If you go into my school or my site, go there and check it out. It talks about how I'm giving you accountability journal. And in that journal, it's going to help you understand and recognize what is the real root cause of relationship that ended for you or may have ended for you that you possibly didn't pay attention to or you didn't take the accountability for it. And if you write down these things within this journal, you'll recognize how to be more mindful about you as an individual of what you're accepting or not accepting, or way maybe you're being treated or not being treated. Because sometimes that's the root of how a lot of our relationships end. And the main one I want to talk about, I'm going to get in and I'm going to give you quite a few today that I feel that are going to help you. Now, as you know, I give you a little tidbit about something. I don't go in and give you everything because it's a lot to delve in when you're helping with various situations or characters or issues. So we'll be revisiting the talks that we have. So I don't want you to get so caught up on that one. But if you join the school community, you can talk with each other about what you find to be an issue, how you can help that relationship, what someone else is going through, because you're not the only one that is experiencing the issues that you have within relationships. So thank you for joining the Love Coach Dr. Pamela's, and I thank you for being a part. Make sure you go in and hit the notification bell so that you can get notified when I bring a new video up. Make sure you push the like button and please leave a comment and let me know what you think about this topic here. Okay, now let's get right into it. The main one that causes most relationships to go to the left is your emotional, or you're not emotionally available. And that comes from your either shutting down in the relationship, or you are avoiding, just avoiding the conversation, right? It may be due to past trauma. It may be due that you just don't know how to connect with someone. I.e., I give you an example. So I was in a previous relationship with a friend that no matter what I did to try to connect on a conversation or to connect to meet or to connect to get together, they were always emotionally unavailable. So I had finally just decided to say, hey, I'm going to let you stay in your lane and I'm going to stay in my lane. Because I'm not able to keep reaching out to you, trying to be there or to help or to be a part of your life. But every time I try to do that, you're not available. You don't have the time. You got to work or something else is going on. So I'm not the problem. You are. You see? And it's okay. But we have to recognize how to move on from that type of relationship. And you just leave it because they're not going to open up. And if they're not going to open up and meet you halfway, don't waste your time. Learn to move on because you're not the problem. They are. You can be the problem. But right now, if you're in that situation, then you are the problem. And you have to recognize when it's you or them. It's all about being emotionally available for the person that you're bringing into your life. Okay? Now, the other one is that you don't take accountability. And that's almost like if a person say, hey, I don't like the way you treat me. I don't like the things that you said. I don't like the words that you use. You're not taking accountability for the way you treat someone, which is a form of immaturity. And so you're using those emotional words, right, for fear or either i.e. of commitment, or you're trying to cover some emotional, as I just talked about, emotional lack. You're not able to connect, right? So when you're in that type of situation, you're blaming the other person for that situation. When you're not being accountable for the way you are. You understand? And your non-accountability, right? You're not taking on accountability can affect the way somebody feels about you. And that will change. Every issue doesn't become your fault, right? Every issue is not your fault. So if a person refuses to self-reflect about what you're saying bothers them, then they're just not being accountable. And you've got to learn to what? What I say, move on. Now, you're not leaving them again because you're leaving them because of who they are. So this is very important. This I just realized as I'm talking to you all, this can go both ways. Now, I did it on the basis of why person, I stated that this is a reason that people don't leave you. It's not because of them, it's because of you. But as I'm giving you this talk, because remember I studied this is in my head. And when I get on a subject, I studied that subject. And this talk, I wanted to talk about how a lot of time, we are the reason we continue within these type of relationships. But as I'm giving you this information, I find it is the person. But what I mean by you are the problem is that you stay in it. You see where I'm going? I'm giving you why the other person may have left, or because you accepted their ways and they weren't right for you anyway. You see where I'm going? So let's keep going. Now I'm going to talk about self. Are you self-centered and are you selfish? Now, I talked about this all the time in various talks. And this is a big one because this will, a lot of times, break a relationship. And being selfish and self-centered is one of the biggest problems I feel that most people have. And not all, most have, because we're so raised to focus on self first that we become so self-centered. And then sometimes your personality can throw you in the stage of being selfish. Okay? Because it comes from the needs and desires and what a person wants, right? So a selfish person feels that they need something now, and it's got to be what they want. It's got to be no way or any way. It's their way, right? And then your self-centered don't realize, and I'm saying this because I really, really believe this too wholeheartedly. A self-centered person doesn't realize they're being self-centered. Now, I'll give you an example. A self-centered person, a lot of times, and I want you to start paying attention to this, even if this person is not self-centered, but I'm going to show you a self-centered person just on a basic conversation that you can have over the phone. See, a self-centered person, no matter what you all talk about or the phone call might be about, that person is going to call you and begin to talk about themselves. If they don't talk about themselves, they're going to talk about somebody within their life, be it a friend or their children. They're going to start focusing on self. So it doesn't matter what you bring up. It doesn't matter what you talk about. The story will go back to self. And they will find a way to talk about what they're doing, what they have going on, what they're trying to do. That's a self-centered person. They don't care about what you got to say. You can even have a conversation with them about something and it's still going to lead back to them. Selfish. Let's talk about a selfish individual. A selfish individual, as I said, it's all about their need. It's all about their desire. It's all about what they want. It's all about what they want. You have to recognize if you are a self-centered or selfish person, you're the reason the relationship's not working because you're so focused on yourself. You're so focused on what you want. And I get it. You're supposed to focus on yourself. I'm not saying by no means, but it's a way you focus on yourself. How are you focusing on yourself? Is it about, it's got to be your way or no way? Is it have to be there every time we talk is about you? I got to hear something about you? What? So here's some of the things that if you're this person, you've got to learn to share conversation, share decisions. You have to have mutual consideration. You've got to learn how to be, what's the word I used to always say? Compromise. You got to be willing to compromise within conversations. You got to be willing to compromise within the things you want to do and the things you want to have. If this is not going to work for you and it's not going to change, then, and that person is never going to compromise, then you have to move on. Because this is all about a person who's just not going to change. And you should try to change them. Or you're not going to change. So if you're not willing to change and you're this individual, why are you in the relationship? Why don't you compromise so that you can have a better relationship? Okay? The other one is inconsistent. Yeah, this one right here for me is I do not like a person telling me they're going to do something and don't do it. I used to say this all the time. Don't tell me you going to. You're not being consistent. You're not being, what's the word? You're not being upfront. You're not following through with what you say you're going to do. And that's not good. If you're not going to be consistent person to do what you say you're going to do, then don't say you'll do it at all. Just don't say anything. Don't say anything. Because if you can't be consistent enough to follow through on the basis of telling somebody you're going to do something, then don't say nothing at all. Let's just keep it moving. Because being inconsistent, oh my God, it's the major part of excuses. It's an excuse because you're going to have an excuse after an excuse why you didn't do it or why it didn't happen or what took place. It's an excuse. You're not consistent. It's like a person who's always late. You know they're late. And you're late all the time. And you have an excuse with that. So you're not willing to change the way that your the way that you are. But when you're inconsistent when it comes to setting boundaries and communication and your follow through, right? You've got to do that. If you're not going to follow through and communicate that you're unable or incapable of doing something that you say that you would do, then we don't need to be in a relationship. It's called what I call, it's disruptive. And what I'm doing is I'm talking to you about ways to have successful relationship. And the way to have a successful relationship has a lot to do with compromising, and it has a lot to do with what you say you're going to do. It has a lot to do with giving someone time. And if those things you're not able to do, which I'll go to my next one, is about poor communication. If you're the person that that has poor communication skills, and that is one of the major problems that you all hear all the time from relationship gurus about, you're not communicating enough. You're not telling someone what you really want. You're not expressing your feelings. You're not solving the conflict that we're having at this time. You don't stay calm when we're trying to deal with a situation, meaning, just being under pressure with whatever you have going on within your life. You're not communicating your feelings. And so you hold the thought process of how you feel here. Some people do that. You see, I'm sometimes a person that's going to give you the thought of what I feel, how I'm feeling. I'm not going to hold on to it and talk to you about it 30 days or 6 months down the road. I'm going to deal with it at that time, because that's part of communicating to someone about how you feel, what makes you feel good, what you don't like about something, what bothered you, what went on. You have to communicate that to the person that you care about enough that you want to have this relationship. Okay? And the only way that we is going to work out is that we have to communicate what we're doing, how we're doing it, how it's going to be structured. It can't be about how I going to do it. It's how we going to do it, if that's what you're in. But if the conversation that you have, and y'all know I like this, involves a lot of chaos, shut down, I don't want to talk, avoidance, you know what I say, relationships about peace. And if you don't have peace within a relationship, it's not going to work. Your relationship is going to eventually end. And you're just wasting time. You're just holding on to something, hoping that it's going to get fixed. No. If you don't fix your lack of communication, you're just spinning your wheels. And you're just hoping this person's going to stay with you just because. Can't do it, guys. There's too many people out here needing and looking for someone to love. So you can't keep staying in that cycle of relationships, okay? So let's go to another one, the respect. So if you don't have respect for you, right, you got to respect yourself. If you don't have respect for yourself or love yourself so, how are you able to respect and love someone else? And this is powerful because it hurts my heart when I come across someone that is so disrespectful and not loving and not kind. And for some reason, they're holding and harboring their emotions or their problem or their belief of something that may have happened within their lives. And they believe that you're the reason that this didn't transpire, or you believe that this person is the reason for ever what's not going on, so you're disrespectful. And you don't have respect for that person. Listen to me clearly. If your respect is so low for that individual, there's no reason to go forward in a relationship. And I'll give you an example. If a person say things, and I'll say emotional abuse. And that means if they say things that is a form of emotional abuse, like putting you down and saying things that hurt you at the core of your heart. And you know the difference. I don't want to do this on this, give you details. I'll do a talk on what type of words are disrespectful. But you get the gist of where I'm going about a person that's disrespectful. If a person doesn't have respect to you, for you, and dismisses you or ignore your boundaries, probably mock you, I would say, or just minimize your thoughts or minimize what you're expressing. And if you're that person, move on. And that may be why the person left you, because of your disrespect and the way you treated them and the way you talked and the things that you said. And then you overstep boundaries over and over and over. And children do that a lot today. A lot of people today talk about how their children have no respect for their home and their boundaries. And then you be wondering why you're out left in the street or you end up homeless, because you didn't have respect for my home or the boundaries that I have within my home. You treated my home with such disrespect. You don't need to be here. You don't need to be around me. And that's the same thing you have to do within relationship. If someone doesn't respect you and show you that you are worthy to be in their life, you have to move on and leave them alone. Okay? The next one is, I would call it your ambitions or your vision. Your vision or your ambitions to have a certain type of lifestyle, right? And you want to be comfortable within your lifestyle. You want to have long-term things that you're seeking to do. But you fear failure. You fear that your vision and your ambition is just, you just fear that this is just not going to work for you. And so because of that, you bring about all these type of issues and problems, and you want to talk about you're not helping me grow, or you're in my way, or you're dragging my dreams. Okay, well then you don't need to be in a relationship. And you need to work on what? Your vision, your dream, your ambition. If you're not married at this time, I'm talking about this, and someone is saying to you, you're in my way and you're messing with my vision or my ambition or my dreams, you need to end that relationship and revisit it later, if you're going to revisit it. But you do have to move on from those type of relationships. And you have to wait and come back. And that's what I talk about. You all hear me talk about this all the time. I call that sacrifice. Sometimes you have to sacrifice people within your life sometimes so that you can focus on self, so that you can do the things that are necessary. So if you're that person that had somebody in your life and they left you, that it could be that you had a lack of vision. You had no ambition. You wasn't bringing something to the table. You just kept talking about what you was going to do. So they moved on and they ended that relationship. Nobody has that kind of time. So you're being the problem, because you keep talking about what you're going to do. But what are you doing? What are you doing to fix it? Are you changing things? It's the same thing. Are you complaining about it? What are you doing? So if nothing's working right now, then let's come back and revisit. Okay? The other thing, unresolved baggage. You're bringing your problems to a relationship and you're not healed, right? You're bringing your wounds, your past traumas, your past issues, your past exes meaning your relationship, ex-relationships. You're bringing that into this new relationship or to this person that you're now dating. Nobody wants to hear that. Everybody have more than likely had some issues within relationships, because that's all about learning how to love and be loved and maturing within relationships. So we've all experienced issues in relationships. We've all experienced some form of situation of trauma in our relationships. Some of us have. But bringing that over for that person to heal you to fix your problem by giving you therapy. No, and I can encourage you to get therapy. I can try to give you ideas to help heal your pain. I can even give you ways to be aware of your emotional issue. But I'm not able to be that person that's going to keep dealing with it if I got to keep hearing the same thing over and over. Because if you consistently talk about old wounds, way somebody treated you, how you were treated in that relationship, you're not getting help. You want to hang on to the problem. You want to hang on to the issue. You're not letting go. And so that's why sometimes somebody may leave you, because you keep talking about something else. You keep talking about these old wounds. You keep talking about what somebody did to you. What they got to do with me? I thought we was in a relationship, a relationship to get to know each other about us. I don't need to keep hearing about that. I don't want to hear about that. You all got to understand, nobody want to keep hearing the same old story. Let that go. People can't fix what you went through. They in a relationship trying to get to know you. I don't want to keep hearing about what you went through with somebody else. Somebody don't hear that. I don't want to hear your stories about how somebody did this and did that. You need to go see a therapist. I'm not trying to be mean, but I'm just being real. So if you are not able to fix that, then you need to leave and move on. Now I'm going to try to do a couple of more, and then I'm going to let you go. One of them is, I think the biggest one is, no, I'm going to do that one last because it's based off of that. But then I want to talk about how you're loving someone. Do you have healthy love for someone? Meaning, is your love for that person dysfunctional? Meaning, and I talk about this, and when I told you I was going to do this, I'm going to do a talk on that about control and jealousy and all type of characters, right? But this is talking about healthy love. Healthy love does not involve controlling someone, the jealousy, the insecurity, the guilt trip, manipulation, withholding. I could think of more and more. I could go on and on, right? But you're using those things because that's what you've been doing in your past relationships. And you keep holding on to, i.e., like the last subject we were just talking about, which is you're holding on to your old wounds and you're bringing up what you've been through with someone else. So you bring what may have triggered you to become, because you may have been dealing with somebody who cheated on you. You may have been dealing with someone who gave you emotional abuse, right? When you are this person that is in a relationship and you bring in unhealthy ways to a relationship, you are, again, as I talked earlier in this talk about boundaries, and your behavior and your character of loving someone is not love when you bring about jealousy and insecurity and manipulation and withholding and guilt tripping. And I'll give you an example. I used to date someone that every time I didn't answer their call, it didn't matter that I said, hey, I have things going on. I could have already talked to this person. And if I don't answer their call, because I know I'm not sure where, and I do know that they're arrogant. So they think because they call, I should answer their call. So when I don't answer the call, I'm doing something other than handling my business. And this form, it's like a guilt trip and a manipulation, because they're trying to say, well, I guess you busy because you doing something with somebody. What? Why can't I just be busy? I'm not able to answer the phone right now. I.e., I could be doing what I'm doing now, making tapes for my followers and helping people within their relationship. I don't have time to sit on talking on the phone about what. But people would bring about their feelings and their emotions and whatever they have not fixed and gone through, that it's an unhealthy relationship that they're bringing into the relationship with you. Or you're bringing that into a relationship. You are the version of love has to be consistent. Your version, my version, has to be consistent love. It's not about hurting someone. It's about healing yourself. If you've got to use words to hurt someone on the basis of them living their life and doing what they have to do, then again, we're talking about it again. Then you're not supposed to be in that relationship. Okay? And this is the last one, and then I'm going to end it. And I'm thinking of this one in the way to how to really give you the information of, and it's simple and to the point. Sometimes you can be emotional draining. Sometimes you can drain somebody, that you change their mood, you change how they want to be with you because of your neediness, because of your instability, because of your negative words, because of your manipulation. You drain a person's energy. You drain their mental energy. You're so emotional draining. No one wants to be in a relationship with someone who is always so moody and draining and always complaining. That's draining. That's draining. You have got to create emotional boundaries and balance, and you've got to fix your lack of happiness. I guess that's the word I could say, because you make a person feel exhausted. You make a person feel like, I don't want to be around you. You make a person feel like you're not supported. It's like it's a full-time job trying to deal with your chaos, because you're so draining and you complain about everything. You understand? That is one of the ones I just wanted to leave last, because that one right there is one I think we really, really need to work on, because a lot of us are out there doing this, and nobody wants to stay with someone who is draining. And I say this again, as I said at the top of the talk. A person don't leave you because of another person. We always believe relationship end on the basis of another person. The relationship a lot of time leave on the basis of you. And so I gave you these different various types of issues that can come about in relationships that have a lot to do with sometimes you. And you don't realize these various things can cause you problems. I'll put down in the link in the description those various things that may be an issue. I'll just line them up that may be an issue. But listen to this over again and understand where I'm bringing you within this talk, to understand how you have to be mindful of the people that you bring into their life and the people that you have into your life. And understand that it may not be them, it just may be you. Okay? So thank you for joining Love Dr. Pamela. I appreciate you being a part. I look so forward to giving you more information on having great and successful love and relationship. And again, we'll be back talking about what? Love, love, love. Take care.